Good afternoon, one and all. We, the new 5 Gen clubs of District 323, have come together today to bring to you this program on membership development to foster friendship, growth, and networking amongst us. We begin our program with an invocation song by Gayatri from IWC Chennai Sakhi. Gayatri, over to you.
Juda muragari, Juda muragari, Juda muragari, Juda muragari, Juda muragari, Juda muragari. Sudadular Rangavare Juda Murare Sudadular Rangavare Juda Murare Sitapati Pujudata Sitapati Pujudata Sitapati Pujudata Sitapati Pujudata Shringara Shekarudata Sitapati Pujudata Shringara Shekarudata Judamu Rariye Sudadular Rangavare Judamu Rariye Agama Sancharudata Akila Jagat Paludata Agama Sancharudata Akila Jagat Paludata Tyagaraja Sannutadata Tyagaraja Sannutadata Tyagaraja Sannutadata Tarulara Rangavare Judamurare Sudadular Rangavare
Thank you, Gayatri. I now request President Maheshwari of the Inner Wheel Club of Chennai Work to read the Inner Wheel prayer. I request the audience to raise their right hand during the prayer.
Instill in us, O Lord, the true meaning of friendship. Never let us forget that we are all thy children. Notwithstanding the differences in our culture and creed, endow us with a desire to serve our fellow men, remembering that we too often need help. Whenever or wherever the need for service arises, help us to be ready to serve, endeavoring to make our badge of inner wheel worthwhile, ensuring that we have not lived in vain.
Thank you so much, Maheshwari. I now request President Jeel of IWC Madras Next Gen to address the gathering.
Good evening, Michelle, and good afternoon, all the ladies. On behalf of the New Gen Clubs, I welcome the District Chairman, Mrs. Kamla Selvam, the District Executive Committee, and the past District Chairman present here today. Our special welcome to the Chief Guest, Michelle Atkinson, National President and National Representative, Inner Wheel, New Zealand. We'd like to state here that this is the first time that we have had an international speaker address us. We are happy that you accepted our invitation despite the odd hours in New Zealand. And I would like to welcome the club presidents, club office bearers and members of the New Gen clubs and look forward to a scintillating program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jill. Now I request our dynamic district chairman, Kamla ma'am, to render the opening remarks.
A very good afternoon to, I would actually say good evening to Michelle and a good afternoon to everybody from India. And it's with great pleasure that I'm present here today because this is the first program for the New Gen or the Next Gen members that we are conducting for the year. And I congratulate District ESO Aarti Narayanan, who has been putting together this program, I think, for more than a month, coordinating with all the club presidents who are participating today, the members or the presidents of the New Gen clubs. And it is a great, great honor for us to have Michelle Atkinson, National President and Representative of New Zealand, to be here with us and address us. It's such a, actually, we were just discussing before the meeting started about how the virtual world has literally made the globe very small. And we could have never imagined this in a normal situation to have an international dignitary to come and address us. So we're really, really proud and honored, Michelle, that you could be with us today. And we are all looking forward to your address. You'll be a great motivation and inspiration for all the New Gen members. And we have 5 New Gen clubs in Innerville District 323. All young women between the age of 20 to 30 probably, and they've all just got into their businesses or just got married, have young kids, but still they feel that social service is important for them and they've come to serve the society. So we're really, really happy that you could address this young Gen or New Gen members and provide that kind of input or motivation that they require, and who better than a Next Gen or a New Gen member yourself to address us. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. And once again, I congratulate all the New Gen members, presidents, for putting this together with the guidance of District ESO Aarti Narayanan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kamla ma'am, for that wonderful message. Now, we would like to introduce the 5 New Gen clubs of the Innerville District of 323 through a video, showcasing the past, present, and future leaders who have built these clubs through the years. Thank you for that lovely video. I hope everyone's got introduced to all the members of the New Gen clubs. Now, our chief guest for this afternoon is Michelle Atkinson, National President and National Representative of Inner Wheel of New Zealand. If the audience would like to put down their questions to the President Michelle, please do so in the chat box. I now request President Vaishnavi of IWC Chennai Sakhi to introduce our chief guest.
Michelle Atkinson. She is an Inner Wheel member since 2008 as a charter member of the Inner Wheel Club of Aorta, NZ291, the first new generation club to be chartered in the world. 2008 to 2009, she was the Inner Wheel Club Iota Auckland Charter Vice President. 2009 to 2010, she was the Inner Wheel Club Iota Auckland President. In 2011 to 2014, 3 years, she was the national editor of the, she was the NZ291 district editor. 2014 to 2017, 3 years again, she was the international Inner Wheel editor and media manager. And 2017 to 2018, she was the NZ291 district chairman and IWNZ 2019 conference convener. 2018 to 2019, she was the NZ291 past district chairman, district membership officer, and the IWNZ 2019 conference convener. 2020 to 2021, she was the IWNZ deputy national representative and vice president. 2021 to 2022, she was the Inner Wheel New Zealand. She is the Inner Wheel New Zealand national representative and national president. Currently, she is the owner of her own company and operates as an independent contractor to NGOs, specialist in funding and fundraising solutions, event management, communication solutions, and other organizational development. Currently supporting the Brain Injury Association, Auckland. And past work history, development manager for a cancer charity, 15 years primary school teaching for children from ages 9 to 12 in New Zealand and Oxford, England. Education, Bachelor of Science degree, University of Auckland in Statistics and Psychology, Diploma in Teaching, Science and Mathematics, Diploma Event Management, APMG International Change Management Practitioner Certification. And personal life, married to Mike, an engineer, live just south of Auckland on a small lifestyle block of 2HA with animals, sheep and chickens, no children, but 3 nephews and a niece. Hobbies, creative design work, card making, reading, bushwalking, cooking, and gardening. Personal philosophy, she says, to me, life is about taking opportunities as they come your way and to make the most of every day. Teamwork, staying connected, and building bonds of friendship are the keys to success as we move forward in the journey of life. As Inner Wheel members, we're all women in action, sharing friendship through service, and I'm excited for what the future holds for the challenges ahead. Welcome, Michelle ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for the wonderful introduction of our chief guest. I now request Michelle Atkinson, National President and National Representative, Inner Wheel New Zealand, to address the gathering.
Thank you. I'm just going to share a presentation with you. So thank you for the wonderful introduction, and thank you for your warm welcome to have me here today. It's really a great honour that I'm here to present to you, and I hope that I can share with you some useful information to help you move forward as an Inner Wheel member. So first of all, let me introduce my club, the Inner Wheel Club of Aotea. We were the first new generation club to be chartered in the world, and it was a great honour to be the first vice president of that club. We were set up as a daughter club. We were daughters, daughter-in-laws, nieces, and any other female relatives of current Inner Wheel members in District NZ291. At our time of charter, we had 24 members. Our age ranged from 27 to 38. In this photo, you can see most of the Aotea girls with our founding mum, Hazel Hunter, and our Inner Wheel New Zealand national representative, Marion Patchett. It was a celebration of our families that night, and we were full of grand ideas and plans of what the future held for Inner Wheel Aotea. We were given the directive to make Inner Wheel work for us. As young women, nearly all of us worked, or we had young families, or in many cases, some children arrived a few years after we formed as a club. We were busy. Our lives were busy, we had commitments, and it was really tough at times to make a commitment, but no matter how hard the desire was to meet monthly and to be involved in a range of service projects, sometimes we all struggled. Our numbers of membership fluctuated. At our peak, we have 30 members, but after 5 years, we had plummeted to a small group of about 6. But we managed to keep in contact with all our old members who had dropped off due to immense family commitments and work pressures. But we kept in contact via social media and with emails and with phone calls. We've still all remained friends. So in recent years, now that some of the children have grown up and a few of our original members have started returning, so we've welcomed them back with open arms, and we've welcomed a number of new members as well. So we're currently sitting at a membership of about 28 members. We're flexible. We find solutions that work for us to maintain a healthy club and to keep moving in a positive direction. So as a new club, we had to make our own way, and we had to operate as a group of women working together in order to achieve so much. We held the 3 objects of Inner Wheel firmly in our sights, and we looked at them as building bonds of friendship that spanned generations. Our youngest member actually joined us when she was 18. And she came to Auckland as a university student. She's the daughter of an Inner Wheel member in another club elsewhere in the country, and she's actually a 3rd generation Inner Wheel member. She studies event management, so we've put her skills to great use. Inner Wheel members in our district range in age from 20 through to Ray, who has just celebrated her 101st birthday. Yet, at meetings and events, we mix and we mingle and we share the bonds of friendship through our common bind of Inner Wheel. We encourage and we support others through a wide variety of service projects, which I will share some examples with you shortly. And we care about what's happening to us, what's happening in our local communities, in our country, and in our world. Therefore, we are strengthening our understanding of international. As a club of young women, we cover a range of different service projects over the last 14 years. We choose actions that suit us, whether it be organising big events. For example, we've had Mother's Day high teas. We have movie nights and raffles, or we do volunteering at local community events. We collect bras for distribution to women in the Pacific Islands. We create goodie bags to distribute to women in need. And we've even put our hand at sewing hygiene bags, which are distributed through schools with toothpaste and toothbrushes to school students. For the last few years, we've also taken on the commitment to cater the Christmas luncheon for 100 people at the Brain Injury Association. So those are just a sample of the many actions that we participate in. So teamwork is the key. We talk, we share, and we find out what works best for us and our members. The format of our meetings have changed significantly over the years. We started with very formal meetings happening strictly on the same night of the month with a speaker. And we've moved progressively into a less structured approach where much of our business is now dealt with over WhatsApp. So when we meet with friendship in mind, and we use it to plan our social actions. We have a very active WhatsApp group. We have a public Facebook page for publicity mainly, but we do find that we forget to update that as regularly as we should. We also have a private Facebook group that worked really well for a while, but then we found that WhatsApp and emails just became the easiest way to communicate. So our monthly meetings are not fixed on the same night of the month anymore. We discovered that with family commitments and schools having sports practices and choir practices and children's activities after school just meant that we were constantly having to change the date. So now through WhatsApp, we share what night is going to work best for us, and we negotiate to find the best suitable night of the week for that month. We have a regular place where we meet, but we also have a large screen there. So we'll have half the members probably in the room while the other half are sitting on Zoom. So we're able to do the mix of the virtual and the in-person. So we just make sure that meetings work for us. Our service projects are also done to fit in with our time commitments and our abilities. We like to do at least one really big event during the year, and then all the other smaller activities sort of fit in around a lot of our social interactions as well. So if we're packing and creating hygiene bags, which we do a lot of for distributing to the communities, we'll get together at someone's house and we'll make a real social outing out of it. So therefore we're building on the friendship at the same time. Respect. I think one of the biggest things that I learned was that if we treat everybody with respect, and in particular, it was a little bit awkward at first when we became Inner Wheel members because we were that much younger than everyone else, and some of the traditional lines of respect for women who were older to us and became difficult with that feeling of not letting your barrier down and making sure that your voices were heard and your ideas do have a significance, but also within the realms of the respect for the older women. So what we did was we turned it around and we looked at the fact that if we treat everyone with respect as a woman, respect as an Inner Wheel member, and then we look at the object of Inner Wheel being that of true friendship, we are all members of Inner Wheel. So we started treating everybody as a friend. We broke down the traditional barriers and we learnt to work alongside older Inner Wheel members as friends and as equals. We took time to learn from them. So we would ask questions about the way that things had been done in the past and what they are doing now. We shared ideas about the way we did things and how we made things work for us. We talked openly to the members of the district about how we could adapt some of the ways we operate in order to accept younger women into the organisation. So this year, my national governing body team actually has quite a range in ages from 82 to 50. We are a team of vibrant women. We all work together and we share ideas. We share our passions for Inner Wheel and we share our mutual respect for each other. We are all Inner Wheel members. So what do you do as a young woman, as an Inner Wheel member? And what can you talk to these older members about? A good place to start is to share your understanding of Inner Wheel. but also ask questions. Find out how things have been done in the past and ask why they've been done that way. Maybe you can share your professional skills. I've spent many hours on the end of a computer helping out and giving training to Inner Wheel members. I stepped up as a young Inner Wheel member to take on the role of district editor, where I could see that my skills could be used to help the district to update their communication skills and to build an online presence for the district. I shared my ideas at a national conference when I was invited to speak on how to promote Inner Wheel and how to start selling ourselves to the public rather than being that best kept secret. I shared the successes of our club and the work that we were doing and how things worked for us, how we adapted, and all the exciting things that our members were doing. This helped us to grow our membership and it kept our club healthy and positive. At district meetings and national meetings, I would take a great deep breath and engage in conversations with everyone I met. I'll share you a very quick story about the Michelle that first started Inner Wheel in 2008. I was a school teacher, so I had no problems in speaking in front of children. I could talk to them all day, but put me in a room with adults and I froze. I couldn't look people in the eye, I couldn't engage in conversation, and I just certainly could not speak in public. So then I became club president and I needed to present a report at my district meeting. I was so intimidated by these amazing women that I stood in front of. I shook, I teared up, I had tears in my eyes, I went red, my voice tremored, and I could barely read my report. Jump ahead 2 years later, there I was presenting at the National Conference for Inner Wheel New Zealand on how we could sell Inner Wheel to the public. And then 2 years later from that, I was launched into the public arena with all those amazing Inner Wheel legends from around the world, where I needed to address the convention of 2,000 women at Copenhagen. So guess what? My first 30 seconds, I was petrified. My voice shook. I even introduced myself by the wrong name. But then something inside of me clicked and I realized that I can do this. These women were listening to me and they were interested in what I was saying. So from that moment on, I have never been fearful of talking in public again. Neither have I been fearful of talking to some of our great leaders of Inner Wheel from across the globe. We are all women. We have so much to share. And if you put yourself forward into these roles of leadership and volunteer your skills and let people know that you are passionate about Inner Wheel, all those barriers will just drop away. But take it slowly. It's really important to take things at your pace. It takes time to build relationships and to grow mutual respect. Something I always remember though is that we are all Inner Wheel members no matter what position someone holds. We are all members of the same organisation, and if you want to aim to be a leader, go for it. But as a leader, always respect that everyone you meet is just an Inner Wheel member like you. It was hard when we first started going to district meetings and events, and these tended to be on a Saturday and they lasted for a whole day. So that was a vital family time for most of us. And for those of us that worked full-time as well, it just meant that our weekends became very short. So we decided as a club that we would make a commitment that at least one person would attend every single district meeting. 2 were better, and if they could go together, then that was even better. The club paid for their fees to attend every district meeting, and they went and represented the club as our delegates. It was really hard, and what we ended up doing in some cases when the time constraints were just really too difficult was that we made compromises, and we talked to the district executive and asked if we could just attend for various parts of the days, that we weren't there for the whole time, because sometimes it just wasn't going to work for us at all. So we realized that it was really important to have someone present and to have our voice heard. And interestingly, now, 14 years later, we are attending district events almost as a whole club. So we actually started to really enjoy attending them. Our attendance at district meetings and events was always enjoyed by the older members, and when they were reporting on sicknesses and deaths and grandchildren arriving, in our reports we could report on births and engagements and marriages and new jobs and promotions. They loved it when we brought the babies to meetings and they'd line up to be the babysitters for the day while we were there at the meetings. So it really helped us to build a presence and to find our place in the district. It helped to build those relationships, and we all felt valued as Inner Wheel members too. So in Aotea, we've grown over the last 14 years. Our hard work at doing what we could and when we could, and we're taking the time to learn about Inner Wheel and show our respect and share our passion, has meant that we've developed into a club that really makes a huge difference in Inner Wheel New Zealand. In our club, we have 2 past district chairmen, 1 current vice district chairman, a national president and representative. We have the national strategy facilitator, the national webmaster, and the youngest member of our club was even on the latest national conference organising committee. We enjoy each other's company. We do what we can when we can, and we consider service back to the organisation as part of our commitment to ensuring the future of Inner Wheel in New Zealand. For the last 2 national conferences, we've won the National Rose Bowl trophy for the club who has the largest percentage of members attending the national conference. We are engaged, we are vibrant, and we care about the future of Inner Wheel, but we also have an awful lot of fun along the way. I'd like to end by introducing you to my Inner Wheel hero, the woman who introduced me to Inner Wheel, my mum, Hazel Hunter. Hazel invited me to an information evening in 2007 for an organisation that I had never heard of. She had invited a number of women, many of them being past friends of mine from school. We met, we listened to her presentation, and we decided that it was something that we were interested in belonging to. Since then, Mum and I have shared so many wonderful Inner Wheel memories. She has been national president and an international board director, and it was a wonderful honour the year that she was a board director to be able to attend the international governing body meeting with her, as I was the international editor and media manager at the time. Hazel is my Inner Wheel hero. She is my mum, and she would be my best friend. So I have so much to thank her for. My parting message to you all is that as you grow as Inner Wheel members, your passion and connection to the organisation will multiply. Take every opportunity that comes your way. Enjoy those opportunities in Inner Wheel that Inner Wheel will gift to you. Always remember that at whatever level of responsibility you hold, every woman in the organization is a member, even you, and treat everyone with the same respect. You know that you are women in action, sharing friendship through service. Thank you. I hope that you have enjoyed some of those sort of pearls of wisdom of what I've found about being an Inner Wheel member and part of a New Generation Club is all about.
Definitely, ma'am. It was a very, very insightful presentation. I'm sure all of us have learned a lot from you, and we now get better ideas to take our clubs forward in a very, very productive and friendly way. Like you said, we need to be very confident, focused, and break the traditional barriers. That's what we plan to do from now on. A lot of us have a lot of questions to ask you.
Yeah.
So can I remind the audience to just put down a few questions in the chat box? And I also request our President Anusha from the IWC Chennai Golden Sun to do the moderation for the question and answer. Over to you, Anusha.
Thank you, Mayuri. Hello, Michelle.
Hello.
We have a few of the questions. Actually, we had a few questions coming up now. So the first question is, most of us have been, sharing our, Inner Wheel journey and most of the things in our social media, and we are communicating with all our friends regarding this. Even though they see as a prospective member for the Inner Wheel, most of them are, not putting their foot forth to join in. How do we motivate them to be a part of Inner Wheel?
That's one of the hardest things is, we've had so many people come and go and they've come along to a few meetings and some of them have then decided it's not for them. I think the hardest thing is commitment at your age. It's that scary thing of actually committing to something and feeling like you have to be there. I would say the important thing is that if they're not joining right away, if they're not saying yes now, don't just leave them hanging and don't keep talking about it. I think, so what's happened with a lot of our old members is they found life too hard, they left, and they're now coming back. So if they say no the first time, just keep asking. Give it a break in between times, but just keep asking.
बहुत traffic है pre-COVID times जैसे?
Yeah, that would help. We'll try to do that.
Yeah.
And the next question is, what are your guidelines for the new gen clubs about regarding the attendance? Because most of them are working and new moms, and they are finding it difficult to attend the meetings and all stuffs like that. Yeah. So, what would be your motivation factor for them?
So, what we did in our club was we made a policy when we first started. We made a policy about family comes first. So for the young mums, if they couldn't make it to meetings and to events and it was to do with the family, then there's no need for any other excuse, because young children are only young children for a short amount of time. Eventually the children grow up, but it is a case of just letting them, we have that family comes first policy, and just make sure that you'd look after family first. Those that have got big work commitments too, we had a lot of members that would not come every month to meetings because of work commitments, but yet when we had a large social service project on, they were there and they were fully committed. So that happened mainly more before we were even using virtual. Now that we're using virtual meetings, we have the split between, we have some people there virtually on a Zoom call and the rest of us in person. That's making a difference about getting everybody sort of in the room together. But it's the keeping communication by the not just being, if they're not there for the monthly meeting, it doesn't mean they're not committed or being able to help. They're just unable to be there at the meeting. The WhatsApp groups are great for keeping people connected. And it's just keeping tabs of those ones that are consistently not there. If someone is not turning up 2, 3, 4 months in a row, then and they're not communicating with you, then you should have been in contact with them to see what's going on in their life and what's happening, and is there something you can do to help them come back into the fold, as it were.
Okay. We are trying to follow
Yeah.
and we'll pick it up from the others from you. Sure. And one more question is how to make new members comfortable and old members more active.
Yeah. I think one of the things we have to be careful about is that when we meet and we are good friends, we can be, and this happens in any group. It doesn't matter whether you're a new gen group or whether you're a club that has been going for 50 years. If you can become cliquey, you can be such close friends that it can be hard for someone new coming in. So we like to set up a mentor program. So when a new member comes, she gets buddied up with someone who is an older member, and that person then takes the responsibility of looking after that new member and making sure they are introduced to others, and they follow up and keep in contact with them outside of the meeting time as well. So that's the best way to try and help keep the new people engaged, is setting up a mentor or a buddy program works really, really well.
One more question. This is not specifically for new gen clubs, but for everybody. You know, everybody is getting bored with all these online meetings nowadays because too much of meetings are happening. You know, would like to know what are the ways that you are using or following to make the meetings more interesting in New Zealand or in your clubs.
Yeah, so we've been really, really lucky in New Zealand in that we've been able to meet face to face because we've been living a relatively free lifestyle for the last 12 months. But we've gone back into lockdown recently. So we've been doing, again, it is this, when you are having to be separated, virtual is better than nothing. But when you have the meetings, sometimes we've done a quiz night. So we've played games, we've done a quiz night, we've done Friday afternoon drinks after work. I actually was just I was reading in a newsletter from a club the other day that they had sort of like a bring and share. So they found an unusual object that they had in their house, and they would bring it and they would share it with people, and they'd talk about what this object was and why it's important to them. So they're doing that rather than just always sitting around and talking business kind of stuff. They're just trying to find more novel ways to interact with each other rather than just calling a meeting for a meeting's sake. Have a purpose for when you get together. I'm sort of lost I'm trying to think what else we've done that's been, because as I said, we've been able to meet face to face. So we go out and have a picnic in the parks. I actually took a couple of slides out of my presentation when I was showing you some of the different things that we did as a club meeting, because it was going to be way too long. but we used to try and engage with the families. So we would have we did one of our changeovers at the zoo, where we went to the zoo and the kids were all went off and looked at the animals. We did our changeover, and then we had a big picnic together, and we had spent the afternoon at the zoo together. We went to we go to people's places and we have barbecues and bring the family and engage the children in what we do and talk with the children about the service projects that we're doing. So we're sort of passing on. We do joke about the fact that all the little girls that were born in our club, you know, we're grooming them to be future Inner Wheel members, you know. So we engage them in our service projects and in the activities that we do. Yeah, I think it's just, if really the biggest thing is to make things work for you, be flexible and have fun.
True. Last but not the least, you know, a one-liner for all the people who are finding it difficult innovating, or you know, a phrase that would help them to manage time, and how will help you, that will motivate the others to be a part of will in an active.
Yeah. So in my year as district chairman, I had a one-liner that I used because I was trying to get women to step up to take on roles within the district. So, you know, I talked about step up, step out, step forward. This year as national president, my catchphrase around is about, we are women in action, sharing friendships through service. And I think that, to me, encapsulates what Inner Wheel is. We're women in action, we're getting out there, we're doing things, but we're sharing service and friendship together. They go hand in hand. So women in action, sharing friendship through service is a really easy, quick way of describing who we are and what we're doing.
Thank you, Michelle. That was lovely interacting with you, and we get to know the different perspective and what are all the ways you're trying to, you know, engage all the members and motivating them to be the part of Wheel. Over to you, Mayuri. Members, I suppose there's no questions in the chat box. In case if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, please. Or else we'll move on.
Thank you, Anusha.
Thank you, Mayuri.
Now, to end our formal session, I request District ESO Aarti Narayanan to render the vote of thanks, following which we will have a fun, informal session of 20 minutes, requesting all of you to kindly stay back for interesting infotainment.
Good afternoon and good evening. I had mentioned earlier that we would be conducting a series of membership development programs for the various clubs in the district, and I wanted to bring in a different perspective by having an international speaker at each of these programs. This was session 1 with the New Gen clubs, and we will be having a few more programs shortly for the other clubs in the district. On behalf of the New Gen clubs of Inner Wheel District 323, I thank District Chairman Kamla Selvam for her support, the District Executive Committee, past International Inner Wheel President Kamla Ramkrishnan, and past District Chairman present here for their enthusiastic presence. A very, very special thank you to past International Inner Wheel Treasurer Arugu Annamalai for supporting my initiative of bringing in speakers from international districts. Thank you, ma'am, for introducing us to our chief guest this afternoon. President Michelle, you are an inspiration to many of us here. Thank you for being here despite the odd hours and motivating us to do more and achieve more. It was a delight to have you here with us, and we hope we can meet in person soon. It is heartening to see the New Gen clubs get together for this one-of-a-kind initiative to create everlasting friendship and understanding. These ladies have their hands full with career and home, yet find time to give back through Inner Wheel, and I applaud them for their achievements. Thank you, Presidents Maheshwari, Jeel, Mayuri, Anusha, and Vaishnavi for creating this program and for motivating the members to be here. Thank you, members of the New Gen clubs, for your presence and participation. Thank you all for joining this session. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.